Welcome everyone to the first episode of Embodied Sounds web series. We'll be talking today about the rhythm of life, and my name is Joshua Miller. Very excited to be guiding us through this conversation. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks everyone for liking our page and supporting this project to bring more mindfulness and wellness into our lives through rhythm and sound. So joining me today is my beloved teacher and guide, Aminah Chishti. Hello, Aminah.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Wonderful. I brought in some lovely lilac power to bless us and to celebrate the changing of the season.
Oh, that looks beautiful. So would you please just kind of introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about your life and how the tabla has been a part of it?
Well, I'm one of many names, but you can find me most available on the internet and with the name Aminah Chishti. And I was initiated with that name in 1997. And what I really found for me, Josh, was that, I started to become more aware of the breath in my life. And I started to practice breath practices, rebirthing with the breath, even just as a natural runner, I would breathe in rhythm where I was I would breathe two in and one out. And this was like my golden ticket through any kind of means of exertion in the physical realm was the breath. And the more I began to take notice and practice the awareness of my breath, life decided to open up to me. Life started changing. Life had these new doorways that opened, that cleared the way to experiencing different aspects of myself. So this is how an initiation began in my life, was to actually experience a different aspect of myself.
Tell me more about that. What has music and sound really allowed you to understand about yourself, um, in that sense of just being, I'd say, authentic to who you really are? What kind of comes through for you in that question as an artist?
There's a lot of independence and development of the self expression through developing an art form in music, especially because not only is there, of course, the gathering, the offering, the ones who come to receive and fill their cups and dance and explore that moment of art and music being offered. This is, these aspects of togetherness as well as the development of my individual path. So it has brought me into a greater experience of developing what you would say like a study and a practice of this particular form of music. So in that aspect, I get the best of both worlds. In my opinion is I get to have my individual development as well as my celebration development with my soul kindred souls, my friends, my family, the music lovers. When we come together, this is the real participation that you work towards as an individual, to share these cultivations of yourself, these cultivations of what has touched me musically. I cultivate this and then therefore want to offer it because it touched me so deeply. So this is where I get to be able to have kind of a holistic lifestyle.
I love that. It's so beautifully said. You know, these times of quarantine are um, very strange, I think, for many of us. And I don't know about you, but I've really been needing to like root down into my practices a lot more just to kind of stay sane and stay healthy and present with what's happening right now in the world. And I'm curious, like, I know that music and Pablo Riaz practice is very rich for you and something that's really helped you through a lot of life. And I'm just curious to hear how kind of that development of a practice has really supported you in times where maybe it's been tough over the years.
Truly, truly. And not only as a practice, but as a culture of people, this style of Qawwali music has been a leading force in the love and fellowship, tolerance, and peace to the people for over 1,000 years. This style of music has brought all walks of life together, from children to Sikhs to Hindus to Muslims to elders to lineage holders to fusion projects. This is a glimmer of light in the night sky. So this is something I feel, you know, again, it's a way to allow yourself to explore um, the elements. And in these challenging times, we are forced to be in the present, which is very difficult for us as our human nature develops survival, and we live off of the thriving, surviving existence. So being in this COVID experience, we are actually getting push right here, right now. And the only way I've ever really been able to explore the moment is through music. Um, and in that moment, there's expansiveness. So that's where we come in with improvisation, the ability to make a song that's 1,000 years old new again through improv and feeling it in the moment and creating a new experience to this really ancient source of light and information and culture. So when you develop these practices, we, tend to start with the breath. Why? Because our breath is the ability of our own body's rhythm to continue to be present and available. There's so many beautiful ways to exercise our breath and expand it and allow our senses to be fed by our natural source of our own rhythm. Um, in this time, there's so much to explore. There's so much to explore in that we haven't had that time in our lives yet to to really step into what is this being aware of the breath mean? What does it mean for you to, be able to breathe while you're playing at the same time and be aware of our ability to even take a couple big breaths and pump ourselves up to get something done. We have that power to uh, stem from the elements, and through our busyness of our life, we have been able to easily rely on an automatic situation. And, after time, the tabla had become automatic in a way. And this is where you need to start looking and stretching and building and creating in this automatic zone that you feel so comfortable, so easy in. Then there's where the work can begin.
Right on. That automatic, you know, ritual and routine of something that comes with practice over time is so important. I'm curious to dive deeper into the practice of rhythm, as you were describing being like that focusing element. How has finding the one in a song, and what does it feel like when you all come back together on that solid downbeat, that's just not really existing anywhere physically, but is very much felt just in time and in a moment. And um, I've just had so much experience in my own life of uh, that beauty of kind of seeing things all making sense. Finding that kind of balance between the left and the right side of my body while I'm playing tabla and percussion as I've been studying. That it really is the best medicine for me as someone who's always been like, okay, I gotta go over here, to just like come back in the center and just find that sense of grounded composure. Is rhythm, is rhythm like meditative in its own nature, to just be kind of getting lost in that cycle?
Well, there's a lot there, but a cycle means that it's going to come back around. So within the cycle, you're going to make a curve. So basically, you're going to be experiencing this momentum that will be creating a trance. And in this trance, you have the ability for your mind to not be in the forefront. So, first of all, you're creating this rhythmic trance so your mind can be silent. Then after that, your heart gets to come, and your heart comes and it gets to improv. So once you get your heart out there flying with the rhythm, you get to improv and develop this ability to fly around within the confinements of the improv. Within the structure of the improv, you get to explore and experience and take others into this exploration, as well as bring it back to the one. So that's why in our tradition, Josh, as a student of Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and Ustad Dildar Hussain, we are taught to actually first know tabla, first know rhythm, first know how the melodies fall in place with the rhythm, and then therefore you go to your vocal, you go to chorus, you go to the raga. Then, therefore, you go to improv. So this is a building step. Like,
So wonderfully said. So wonderfully said. And I'm so happy that you mentioned the lineage that we're both a part of under the Sufi Qawalli path. I'm so excited to hear about some of your experience studying with Ustad Dildar Hussain Khan in Lahore, in Pakistan, and how some of your life experience really brought you to that part of the world. It's quite unique. I'd say you're the only woman in the Western world who has done that. So, please tell us. I know there's an exciting new documentary series that's just been released, Music of the Mystics, the collaboration with your band Fanafi Allah. So excited to hear about this story and just how you really felt called and what was so calling about this style of music and what it represents.
well, a lot of our friends here in the West have known us for quite some years and seen Fauna Fiola develop over the 20 years that Tahir and I have been cultivating this project together. And it's been, fascinating to not only try and explain the stories to people what was happening to us, but as well bring our bandmates to Pakistan and actually explore and experience the real taste of the masters. And that's actually what got our group to the next level of participation with each other, with our music abilities, with our understanding the context of the culture. Then after that, I was able, mashallah, to bring my Ustad Dildar Hussain and Ustad Abrar and Ustad Israr Hussain to the United States and participate and show for the first time my friends here in the West Coast really what it was. Here it is in the living flesh. Ustad Dildar Hussain, please, this is what I've been trying to explain to you for in the last 10 years. So through the living experience of that and actually being involved in creating this bridge from the east to the west that has been, happening since the early 1900s more and more, bringing these messages of different cultural exchanges for us to evolve and grow and take all the goodness and move forward in life. So this is this bridge creating the actual living context of it and now being able to um, even widen up the scope for people to understand Sufi Qawwali music as a culture of people through music of the mystics. And really focusing on the story of the masters and the story and the content of what it is like being there, involved in the culture. So this is another layer of our bridge we've been working on for, just showing up for.
Fantastic. What a story. I'm so curious to maybe hear some uh, of these tekas. Do you have your tablas available? Would you like to share with us some of this practice so we can kind of get a sense of it by experiencing it?
So this drum is very special drum I've been kicking with here for a little while. It's such a gift from Ustadji. There's many practices behind the tabla, there's so many different versatilities of tabla. These are all the gharanas of tabla are basically cousins to each other. This is a family of understanding. Punjabi gharana, Delhi gharana, Calcutta gharana, all these different variations and varieties are all coming from the mother tree, and this mother tree is Pakawaj. So this Pakawaj was made only for devotional music, only for the temple, only. And there was a reason for that. And then it explored itself and started to branch out into different forms so it could reach different people outside of the temple and take the message out there. You have the classical doogie, you have the Atawala Dhamma, you have the high pitched swar of the F tablas of Qawwali, you have the classical swars, the low pitched, you have the Panchwal Kala, with the Pakawaj. We have also, as a Sufi Qawwal, we have to learn many of the different tekas and genres. You have to practice the Tintal, Rupak, Ektal, Japtal, Sadra, Kaharva. But at the same time, you have to know what genre, what gharana, and what style you want to put into the composition. So, as ustads, Sharif Miauddin, his father would say, that ek Punjabi gat le lo aur sara zindagi bajana seekhna ek gat Punjabi wale.
Yes, yes. Amazing. Amazing. So beautiful, so beautiful. What was that pattern you just played for us there?
It's a Punjabi gut from original Ustadji's father, Mia Sharifuddin. Big family, we're a big family, we have to really remember this connection of our kindred souls and our family and the people we resonate with. This is the time to really establish those connections where we're receiving and giving 50-50. This is the time to know our boundaries and allow our relationships to bloom and come into the celebration of life and share our light with each other for the good of all. This is such an isolation. We come into these realizations of what we have to offer. In the first couple of weeks I was feeling like, oh, I'm just a musician. That's not, I don't know how to build a chicken coop. I mean, come on. Like, I can learn. I will learn things that I don't know as well. But I'm just saying this is the time to reflect for myself and really um, feeling this genuine gratitude for all the last 20 years of traveling and experience I have done, because now I can really sit at home and go deep, because I feel like I've been out there, out there, out there, out there, and receiving so much beauty from my friends and family, my ones that I met through my tabla beats on some stage in Belgium that came up and was thanking me. And, you know, this is truly gratitude, for the ones who love music, who understand the healing.
Yeah, I feel that from you, and have always felt that from you ever since we first met at Bali Spirit Festival in 2018. Um, I'll never forget the first performance that I received of Fana Fiala, and was just completely mesmerized. It was an experience like none other, and I'm just so grateful that you've committed to this path and are doing this work. It's so needed in our current time. Um, I'm curious to hear how how you would say that focusing on a tabla pattern like what you just played for us, has that improved your mind's ability to say focus in other parts of your life and your ability to focus and really stay present with what life is throwing at you?
What that made me want to say is actually, Ustad reminds me that, we all have our God gift, he calls it. And everyone has one. And everyone has one. And the more you can find that in people, the more your own God gift can be acknowledged and recognized too. So my God gift was this absorption ability. So for me to be able to hear Ustad say a particular teka and feel it automatically made me know it. And first of all, you have to feel it, then know it, and speaking it also. So this is also a great builder for intuition, for trust in yourself, for listening to your gut, for knowing that you can feel something and feel what it is before you have to decipher and intellectually uh, analyze and understand something. So this is a bigger practice into the realm of being able to trust the heart, let the heart lead.
Right on, right on. I I love how you put that so simply. I think oftentimes we can make things quite complex, and that can create a lot of anxiety for people, a lot of stress, a lot of fear. I know I've experienced a lot of that in my life, and really what my goal is right now with creating embodied sounds is to bring rhythm into a space that can be used for kind of quieting the mind, and calming down that monkey mind. And I know for myself, when I started off in percussion, um, I started on West African music, amazing lineage there on djembes and dunduns from the Malinke tribe. And a lot of those rhythms were at first, very simple to play. And of course, they get more complex the more you dive into it. But I found myself really having a trouble focusing on like just a really basic phrase, like a 4-beat phrase. And I'll never forget that when I first heard Indian music and Sufi Qawwali music, the complexity of the rhythmic structure, the timings of it, the cycle, as we've talked about already, the kind of trance-inducing state was just so different than any style of music I had heard before. And in my own experience, in my own practice, really surrendering to the complexity of it and allowing it to just be absorbed is like, it's the only way that I've been able to move forward as a tabla player over these last few years. When I find myself trying to think about it too much, I wind up getting completely lost. Does that make sense? Have you experienced the same thing? Or is that just me?
Yes, I have. And that's why they make Qawwali songs at least 20 to 30 minutes long, because you have to go through that ability you're going to trip over your mind. The song's not done yet. You can't. So it's a real longevity practice of, as soon as your mind thinks something, you train wreck. And people often ask me that, what are you thinking up there? All those faces. And I'm like, well, I'm actually letting my mind go, and when I'm in that place of my mind's released, I can see myself almost as the bird's eye view. And then I'm able to add improv, add something new, play with it, but it took a while to get to that place of being bird's eye view to be able to then add. And memorizing too is a great way to still the mind. Memorizing, this memorization of tekas, memorization of rhythm cycles and counting on your hand is a great way to be able to say mantra. In Sufi tradition, we say wazifa. And this is the tabla practice, the Chishti practice of namaz is Qawalli music. So how do we count and how do we have our wazifas is on our fingers here. We have 16 beats. We can count as many as you want here. So this is a beautiful practice of being able to compose as well as memorize, as well as understand where the beat cycles fall on and off, and to get very intellectually stimulated with rhythm cycles as well. It's this big, sophisticated bucket bowl of amazement to actually still your mind and give your mind something to fall into rather than reaction, emotional reaction. No, you have a peaceful mind to experience some Metallica song someone's playing next door because you can hear the beat cycle in it. This is where we create unity and ability to accept and receive and participate, is if we can have harmony. We can have the ability to participate with our fresh, pure, peaceful mind. And this is no judgment. This is love.
Thank you. Thank you. I I really appreciate that personally, and I know a lot of others will as well. I think right now, for many people, spending a lot of time at home is really a first. And for some people, maybe the first time that they've had this much time with themselves, which can be hard to do. I know I've spent a lot of my time kind of avoiding myself in a sense and keeping myself busy with things to do because it's so hard to just sit and be present with what is. And having this practice of rhythm and counting and music to allow those quiet moments to be so enjoyed, has just been a great gift that I've received from this practice. So yeah, really wanting to allow people to understand potential ways to maybe relax and calm down and just take life one day at a time in ways that maybe people haven't thought of yet. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Let's see. I'm really curious to hear some more about the story that's coming out now on the Music of the Mystics documentary. What's happening with that project?
Well, there's a 8-episode release happening with Fanfi Allah, big release. Like, yeah, it's a release, but it's a release. It's wonderful, the building of these years to offer back and to let go and to give back to the lineage that has prolifically, profoundly affected us, Fauna Fiala speaking, and the way we have been so graced with the presence of um, the hospitality of the masters, the presence of the music, being able to be in the actual settings of traditional Qawwali music has changed my life and has healed me personally on so many levels. But as a group, it's taken us um, so far as friends, as family, as people who fell in love with this culture and expression of fire. It's a very strong, powerful, blazing, warm, comfortable fire. The Qawwali music, I always feel so held. And I feel like I'm just being held, and it's very, very nourishing in that way because it's very hard to find a music that encompasses so many different aspects. It encompasses so folk to classical to Punjabi to Urdu to the story of Qawwali music and what it was made for has just been this experience people don't understand because Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan is the bridge builder of the whole experience of Qawwali music. You hear Qawwali, oh, I know Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Oh, yeah. Of course, you heard Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who was a master at fusion music and creating these bridges with Michael Brooks and Peter Gabriel, Eddie Vedder, doing these projects where he was like, oh, I'm going to share what I have to offer and blend with you so we're all together. And this was the beauty of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's lineage, as his really one of the main Qawwali groups of history that were taking Qawwali music outside of the temple in the first place. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's father was the first Qawwal in history to offer it on the radio. And this was controversial, of course. You change a tradition, but traditions stand the test of time because truth is subject to change. So traditions also have to ebb and flow and pertain to the moment in time. So, evolution, but as well, how do you respect the lineage? How do you give back in a way that makes someone feel like that gratitude that you're feeling? And for me, a long time, I didn't know how to give back. I was in awe of how much time I had lived at Ustad Dildar's house, drank his chai, ate his food, slept in his house, was part of his family, included in everything, was so nicely taken care of. And I thought, wow, I haven't even spent any money here for a few years now. Like, how do I? So it was like, okay, when he plays tabla, I'm going to go up and start throwing nazar. And nazar taught me how and when is it appropriate to give back. So this whole tradition behind it, such a powerful meaning, how to express your emotions together and how to sit and allow healings to happen because everyone is in the moment with each other, looking for each other, taking care of each other, looking out for each other, making sure no one hurts themselves because we're all in it together. This is cool. We're all there together. We're not separated. And this is the conscious COVID-19 is bringing is the we consciousness out. And yes, individuality adds a lot to the we. what is, yeah, individuality. You have to cultivate your skills to offer to the we, and for us to be wanting genuinely to give back to the we is because people like you, Josh, because people like us out there that believe in life, that believe in having a smile, believe in having a beautiful moment with somebody you never see again because it's a beautiful day. Believe in this harmony and music of life. This is the healing humanity is screaming for. And I honor and I respect that in such a humility, because I've witnessed not only myself and others heal from the traditional setting of Qawalli music. And that's what I'm about. I love this. That's all I do. I that's why I play tabla. That's why I sing. That's why I do this, because I loved it. I love it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the beauty I was witnessing of people blooming and, going into intoxication, and people around them holding them up so they don't hurt their head, so they could actually really release some deep pain and some deep feelings, and that's what Music of the Mystics is going to touch on. And I'm so, especially in this time of isolation, it's so nice to be able to re-experience and reiterate my love of the last 20 years, and have a taste of walking in those streets again.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really feel your love for what you do, and it comes through naturally, in all of your recordings and performances. I'll always remember at, I think it was Shakti Fest last year, I caught your set and we chatted afterwards, and you just said to me, you said, when I'm doing this, I'm just sharing my practice. And I love the way that you hold yourself and walk in this light and in this path. And I'm very grateful for your presence and contributions musically and just in general as a being. So I think that's the best place to finish, unless you would like to add anything else.
How about that?
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Aminah, and everyone. Please, join our page, join our channels, and we'll be posting this in both the Embodied Sounds and Fauna Fiala social media accounts. Thank you so much for your time, Aminah Chishti.